Most sunshine, and through the day, a weak front will push on through strong enough to restore some really pleasant, comfortable, low humidity conditions Sunday on into early next week. Saturday, low to mid 80s. Sunday afternoon sunshine with a high going only to low 70s. Are you looking for the best deals on firearms, bows, hunting equipment, ammo, and more? Look no further than the Bowie Outfitters Surplus Inventory Reduction Auction. With over 7,500 lots of items up for grabs, you'll be sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Go to HendersonAuctions.com. This huge public auction starts closing October 16th through October 21st, so don't miss your chance to get amazing deals on all these great items. Go to HendersonAuctions.com for more information and details. Auction business license number 8459.
The views and opinions expressed during this show are those of the hosts and guests only. In no way do they represent the views, positions, or opinions expressed or implied of WGSO 990 AM or North Shore Radio, LLC.
All right, New Orleans, welcome to the Thursday night edition of the Jack Clegg Show. You're listening to WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, and many of you may be watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. So, welcome to a show. We have the news here, and we listened to the news, and my producer said, "Did you hear that Steve Scalise dropped out of the race?" I didn't hear that, and so I won't be able to cover that story. But what we are going to talk about tonight and we're going to talk about it from three different angles. We're going to talk about what's going on in Israel and what's supposed to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, the day of Jihad, as announced by the former leader of the terrorists in the Gaza area. And we're going to talk about that, as well as the third area of tonight's show. We're going to talk about, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of misinformation about why this happened, and much of it is historical. And I'm going to give a very short historical resume, recent history. I mean, the fighting between the people who are Jewish and live in Israel and the surrounding neighbors has been going on for a long, long time. And I'm just going to talk about what's happened since 2005. We'll give you the last 15 years or so. But the first issue we're going to talk to tonight, and oh, by the way, our call-in number is 504-556-9696. You can call in on any topic, but I'd really prefer if we focus on the Israeli issue and how it might affect us, and particularly what we've learned about our own government and our own leaders as they respond to this event. And whether or not this event dries up and goes away in a few weeks, the Israeli army and their Air Force in particular is quite capable of dealing with terrorists. But the question is, will the fighting expand to other countries like Syria and Lebanon? But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. What we're going to talk about is what's on the ground today and what we're doing today. The first issue that we're going to hit is the cat is out of the bag, sort of. The plan to integrate the Middle East and the world has been released today. Now, it's no accident they use that word, integrate. And we're going to talk about what that really means. And I was shocked to hear it. My producer, who's always on the alert for these things, found the quote that I was looking for. This is Secretary of State Blinken at a press conference in Israel today. Go ahead when you're all set up. Ready? It should be there soon. Okay. Come back. Anyway, it's Tony Blinken and he's talked about a lot of other issues, but I've captured this cat out of the bag moment that we're going to talk about for a little while this evening, if we get it going. $135. For those of you at home, just to while we're trying to tee this up, Mr. Blinken is Jewish. His family's Jewish.
My family in Israel,
Here he is.
everywhere we've gone, we've met people who've been touched in one way or another by Hamas's bloody hand. A loved one, a friend, a classmate, a neighbor, a colleague, killed, maimed, missing. We encountered a nation knit together by grief, but also a nation united in resolve. The United States shares that resolve. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Israel. From here, I'll go on to Jordan, where I'll meet with His Majesty King Abdullah and with Pakistani Authority President Abbas. And then over the coming days, we'll visit with leaders in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Qatar. Across each of these engagements, we'll continue pressing countries to help prevent the conflict from spreading and use our leverage with Hamas to immediately and unconditionally release the hostages. We'll also discuss how we can continue to make real our affirmative vision for a region that's more peaceful, more prosperous, more secure, more integrated. And in fact, that is the choice. And the choice in some ways has been made even more stark by the actions of Hamas on Saturday. One path forward is a region that comes together, integrated, normalized relations among its countries, people working in common purpose to common benefit, more peaceful, more stable.
Okay. He spoke for quite a while. We can still hear it. Cut it off. He spoke for quite a while, but when I heard it this afternoon, and he explained that the American vision, our affirmative vision, what we want to see in the Middle East, is an integrated country. Or I'm sorry, I misspoke. Is all of the people in that region of the world being integrated? And I'm scratching my head. Who does that? What kind of people think that the citizens can be best controlled if they're all together, thinking the same, doing the same in an integrated way? I was shocked. He wasn't talking about integrating schools with black kids and white kids. No. It was much broader than that. This is a notion that is purely and simply totalitarian. When you have totalitarian regimes, here's what they do. They first of all, they cause strife between one group and another. And the leaders of those groups end up killing themselves, killing each other, and those who followed them are kind of like, what do we do now? So some group comes in and takes control, and everyone is the same. They look at everyone the same. No one has more than the other. They trick people by saying, well, we're going to give you great opportunity, and you're going to have great opportunity. But no, it's all the same for everyone, and it's control. That's not how the people in the Middle East want to live, whether they're Israelis or not. The Israelis don't want to live like that. And I'm thinking, what is it? What is this idea, this affirmative vision to have an integrated Middle East? It's horrible. I was shocked, and perhaps a caller will be able to call in and explain how I'm wrong, and that's not what he meant. So we're going to talk the rest of the evening about this issue, and more on what's going on in the Middle East. But I thought notifying you that our leaders want an integrated Middle East would be worth hearing. Okay, we got to take a break. We'll come back in a few minutes to the Jack Clegg Show, WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com.
When the time came, I knew I had to find a place where Mom would be safe and active while still feeling independent. A place that was close to all of us and everything she needed. Locally owned and operated in the heart of Gonzales, I found Francois Ben's Senior Living. They specialize in independent and assisted living and memory care.
Call 225-647-BEND for more information on our special pre-leasing offers.
Francois Ben's Senior Living. Experience life as it should be.
The Louisiana Music and Heritage Experience presents NOLA Funk Fest, October 20th through the 22nd at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. This festival includes 3 days of our local beloved music, food, art, and fun, plus a special Fats Domino and Dave Bartholomew exhibit. The festival will feature Irma Thomas, Leo Nocentelli, the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, George Porter Jr. and the Runnin' Partners, and so much more. For tickets and more information, go to nolafunkfest.com. A business without signage is like a car with a flat tire. It's not going anywhere fast. Sir Speedy can change that. We're a trusted resource for sign design and production. Whether you need trade show displays, banners, posters, directional signs, window decals, wall graphics, or more, Sir Speedy's sign capabilities can help your business get noticed. Call us today at 504-586-9812. Sir Speedy, we do it. Join me, BJ Rust, every weekday at 6 p.m. for the Something to Say radio show. We'll talk sports, music, current events, everything in between. That's weekdays 6 p.m. only on WGSO 990 AM.
Hi, I'm Huck.
And this is Dave.
Please join us on Liberty or Lockdown on Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Be there.
The fastest growing conservative talk show in the South is now on 5 days a week on WGSO 990.
That's right. American Ground Radio has moved from Saturdays to Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 p.m.
American Ground Radio is based out of Louisiana and is grounded in the ideas that founded our country.
American Ground Radio is a show for everyone who believes there is greatness within each of us.
So tune in Monday through Friday starting at 8 p.m.
on the community voice of the Crescent City, WGSO 990 AM.
Everything old is new again. America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
If you relate to these clips playing in the background, you will relate to Everything Old is New Again right here on WGSO. Hi, this is Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again. Join us for the fun on Saturday mornings at 8 right here on the community voice of the Crescent City, WGSO.
Go ahead. Make my day.
You can check out He Said, She Said on a new day.
Hump Day.
A new day, but we'll still be discussing and debating the hot topics.
Wednesdays at 5.
Here on WGSO.
All right. Welcome back to the second segment of the Jack Clegg Show, the Thursday night edition on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com. And our call-in number is 504-556-9696. We have a caller on hold. Before I pontificate more on our totalitarian regime, this is Craig, right?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Craig.
Caller.
Well, thanks for
Yes,
calling. I'm glad.
Oh, thank you, sir. So, with everything going on, and it really got me thinking that our soon-to-be Governor Jeff Landry, I should just start calling him Governor Jeff Landry, because that's what's about to happen, and it's so desperately needed, but especially at a time like this, and so what I firmly believe has to happen going forward, So, you know, you got people just walking out of prison like it's like they're walking into a candy shop or they're walking out of McDonald's. And, you know, with this whole deal with the Gaza and the Hamas and all this. So what has to happen is we might have to start doing what Maricopa County used to do, but they don't do anymore. And look at them now; they're going down the drain. We might have to do immigration checks. We might have to have little checkpoints set up.
Sure.
People coming in from Mississippi, people coming in from Texas, people coming across from Arkansas. But
I hope
IDs.
Craig, I hope we don't have that happen, Craig. That just
what about just people with warrants? I mean, you have so many people with warrants.
Yeah.
And it's an easy check. Check, just a quick ID check. Bam, run your name through. Bam, go on about your business. Have a nice day. You know, we'll see you.
Right.
And,
we have the technology to make it a lot quicker and less burdensome than it would have been 40 or 50 years ago. And it's not like we got a bunch of state troopers with mirrored sunglasses staring down people. No, and I understand that. I just
well, then we have to double our police force. I mean, or just the illegals coming across the border. I mean, we're talking 10-20%. You know, I don't even want to say speak to existence.
I lost what you just said, Craig, I lost what you just said. You went out for a second. Start the sentence over again. Hello?
So I don't like to speak into existence. So I'll just say they're not from the Americas, and they're not from Europe, and they're not from Southeast Asia.
Right.
So I'll let you dwindle it down. So yeah. So but that's it. You know, that's all I have. And thank you, sir. God bless you. And we're just gonna pray. We need to pray. We need to pray for our country. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Craig. Thanks for calling. And to me, it's we can talk about the differences of opinion that we all have, and that's what we should talk about. And there are people who talk out of their noses.
Butts, I'll say it.
You say butts.
Yeah. Well, I say that, but we can't say the other way.
We can't say the other way. Okay.
Right.
We have people who often don't know what they're talking about, but that's okay. That's fine. But the point Craig raises, and it's a good one, after this attack in Israel, the very next day, or I'm sorry, that was Saturday, on Tuesday morning, the New Orleans Police Department, Chicago police departments all over the country alerted the officers that they were going to have additional resources set out to protect the Jewish communities, synagogues, community centers, so forth and so on. So there were and are supports. Now, if you don't think that our criminal justice system has been under attack, well, probably since the organized attack was right after the George Floyd incident. State after state after state, bail reform, it was called, and other things. And big cities are suffering bad. I have to say, living here in New Orleans, we were at one time the murder capital on a per capita basis, not on a gross number of dead. But having these problems with crime is endemic. It is an exhibit A in the trial of, is our government doing what it's supposed to do? The very first thing that we look to the government to do is give us security. We got another caller on the line, Matthew. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing well, Jack.
Good.
So this thing about integrating the Mideast, that sounds like, Agenda 2030 stuff. And,
sure.
The thing is, it's fine for Blinken to say that and to spout off about that. But I wonder how many other countries in the Middle East are going to buy into that. Is it going to be 10%, 5%, 0%?
My thought was, Matthew, that he didn't want to say that, and he did, and it slipped out. My view is that there are people who want that in America, who want that worldwide, and
But
they're
sure, I mean,
currently
if
in
the
power.
entire world is China.
Sure.
Just imagine all the frictionless trade that can be done all around the world.
Exactly. You can make it sound so pretty and so safe, except if you don't happen to agree with it, then it's not so good for you, is it?
No, safety is a state of mind. And your previous caller, Clegg, he does bring up an interesting point. And that is they likely have used our border weakness to sneak people across the border. And so there are probably sleeper cells in the United States that aren't being watched right now because the FBI is after the real terrorists.
Oh yes,
and that's us.
The red hat wearing
not
guys,
you.
right?
The red hat wearing guys who don't believe that the 2020 election was the best election ever.
Right.
Guys who don't believe that the COVID-19 vaccines are the safest vaccines ever. And the ones who believe that man-made climate change is a load of bunkum. Who actually still believe in a triune God and might actually go to an ancient religious cult that gathers every Sunday and sometimes uses Latin.
Well, Matthew, your mention of COVID. There was a thought I had today. I was preparing for the show, writing down different things, and of course, immigration jumps right out at me. And when you look at what's going on in the Middle East and Europe, immigration is not going well. It's not going well, and there's some real serious thoughts we need to have about whether assimilation should be required. Now,
I think it should be.
It should
then
be.
I'm a terrorist.
You're on the watch list. You're a domestic terrorist, right?
Right.
So let me just finish this analysis. So we for a year and a half, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, the American government in Washington, D.C. was satisfied that Texas suffered alone. Okay? A few people were sent elsewhere, but mostly it was Texas, and they were satisfied because they could turn Texas to a Democratic state. Oh, how wonderful. Then I got to give this Governor Abbott, who started sending busloads and busloads and busloads of people to New York and to Chicago and so forth. Then the rest of the world got to see how this worked out. And particularly now in Chicago, I have friends there. They've taken over soccer fields where high school kids and younger would play soccer. Now they can't because there are encampments. What are they going to do in December when it's -5? What are they going to do with these people then? Where are they going to put them?
They'll probably, since the Constitution doesn't really mean anything to them.
Matthew, let me interrupt you. If you could hold on during the break. We got to take a break right now. This is a Jack Clegg Show, WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com. We'll be back in a few seconds. Hello, this is Jack Clegg. Thank you for listening and participating in the Jack Clegg Show Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Our audience and management have asked us to extend the show to Thursday nights at 7 p.m., and we will do that, at least until the 2024 election is over. We will continue to oppose the rich men north of Richmond who want to control what we think and control what we do.
Get ready, Greater New Orleans. The Great Southern Gun and Knife Show is coming for 2 days only, October 21st and 22nd at the Pontchartrain Center on Williams Boulevard. Show hours, Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 5. Hundreds of dealer tables available, full of guns, knives, ammunition, holsters, gun books, camouflage, jewelry, and more. That's the Great Southern Gun and Knife Show, October 21st and 22nd at the Pontchartrain Center. Show hours, 9 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday. Don't miss it.
Don't miss Herd's Louisiana Live from 4 to 5, Monday through Friday. While Herd exposes and explains state government's daily shenanigans, exposes our excess taxes and explains how we can get to real community safety. HERD will challenge your legislators to repeal taxes and grow Louisiana. Repeal and grow is the name of the game. HERD's Louisiana Live is coming in hot every day at 4 p.m. Only on WGSO 990 AM.
The Tux Charitable Foundation, in association with the Crew of Tux Parade, is holding the 4th Tux Umbrella Walk and Gumbo Gras on October 28th at 9 a.m. in Audubon Park, shelter number 10 off Magazine Street. Food, drink, live music are all included with registration. This is where Mardi Gras meets Halloween, and everyone is encouraged to come in costume. Kids' activities include the Small Friars Umbrella Decorating Tent, Decorated Wagon Parade, and Small Friars Funhouse. Please go to www.tuxfoundation.org for information and registration.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Colleen Crane. Northwestern Louisiana State has canceled Saturday's football game against Nichols after an overnight tragedy. 21-year-old Ronald Caldwell, a junior safety on the football team, was found dead during the overnight hours with several gunshot wounds at an apartment complex on University Parkway. Police received a call around 1 a.m. this morning of several gunshots in the area. The junior safety from Texas lived at the complex, and investigators are interviewing his roommates and others. Anyone with information is urged to call Natchitoches Crime Stoppers.
It is 100% anonymous. They don't ask for your name, and you can receive an award of $2,500 for an arrest.
Caldwell was honored as Northwestern Student Athlete of the Month this month. His head coach, Brad Laird, spoke of the respect players and staff had for Caldwell. Recent rains have provided some relief in wildfire risks. Agriculture and Forestry Commissioner Mike Strain says some areas of the state are still dry and residents should abide by local burn bans.
Burn ban for non-agricultural burning, for burn piles and that sort of thing. You need to talk to your local fire district or your local parish government.
LRN.
I'm Scott McKnight. I was always taught to serve others. Before serving in the legislature, I served our community as a reserve deputy with the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. In my 25 years in the financial sector, I serve my clients by helping them manage and protect billions of dollars in assets. I'm ready to serve as state treasurer to face a new generation of problems. Hackers, central bank digital currency, and activist corporations. It's time for a new generation of leaders to protect Louisiana taxpayers and Louisiana's future. Paid for by the Scott McKnight campaign.
This is Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin. Election Day is this Saturday, October 14th, and everyone has something on their ballot. So make sure to download the free, award-winning Go Vote mobile app. Find your polling place, sign up for electronic notifications, and view your sample ballot. As a reminder, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. this Saturday. For more information and to find out how we keep our elections safe and secure, visit geauxvote.com. Get ready and go vote, Louisiana.
What does GRACE mean to you? At Grace at the Green Light, a 501c3 nonprofit, we believe that everyone deserves a hot meal, clean drinking water, a welcoming community, and a chance to go home again. You can help create a new home and hope for those who need it most. To see how, visit our website at graceatthegreenlight.org.
Hi, this is Kate Delaney from America Tonight. The show kicks on at midnight, and I'm loving the overwhelming support in New Orleans. What a group of fantastic listeners here on WGSO 990 AM. Join me every morning to catch up on what I call the buzz in your backyard and mine. You'll hear some of the most interesting people on the planet from the world of business, politics, sports, and, well, just intriguing people with a story to tell. If you're around, give us a call. Don't worry, I'll spit out the number plenty of times on the air. Let's agree to meet at midnight right here on WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans.
Hi, this is Kevin Carr, host of Fat Guys at the Movies. Listen every Sunday at 8 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
Hello, this is David Jeremiah. Join me each weekday morning at 5:30 or 6:30 for Turning Point here on Talk Radio 990 AM.
New Orleans, are you ready to have a conversation? Well, if you are, Ron Richardson is here to tell you that you should tune into my show, Conversations with Ron Richardson, every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com, where we discuss mental health, disability, and everyday life. Tune in to Conversations with Ron Richardson every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. live at Premier Nissan at 6636 Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, for our 12th season of In the Red Zone.
All right, New Orleans.
Welcome to the third segment. The third segment of the Jack Clegg Show, Thursday night edition, 990 WGSO, 990 AM, and WGSO.com. And perhaps you're looking at us right now. Hello, on Facebook or X or YouTube. Anyway, Matthew, did you hold on? Okay. So this issue of what's going on in the Middle East, we need to look at what's happening with our immigration, which I think is our biggest national problem. And we need to look at these two together. They're not different problems. They're the same problems. We happen to have, as you pointed out,
two different causes.
Many different causes, multiple causes, but it really doesn't matter what the cause is.
Yeah, sort of does, but go on.
Well, what I was going to say is I read, in doing research for the show tonight, one thing I read about was in the Muslim world, in the religion. Now, I'm not an expert. I am not an expert at all, but in the reading in the last, 8 or 10 years after 9/11 and doing the philosophy in the Muslim world is that the goal is for every human being to be a Muslim. That's the ultimate goal. And so when they go to a place, they don't assimilate and become the people that they have neighbors and work with. No, they remain different, and they want to remain different, and they want you to become like them, kind of like anti-assimilation. And
mostly. I mean, there are exceptions to every rule.
Sure. And I'm being very general here. And we all know and have worked with and gone to school with people that were from the Middle East, and they're terrific. No problems at all. But the theory...
I work with some that stunk, so, literally stunk.
We're not going to get into that. Okay, but my point, the point that I'm making is what they certainly understand about America is how to get a mouthpiece. They know how to win elections. They also know that it pays off to have children, and lots of children, because they will become voters. And in this country, when you have the majority of the vote, you have quite a lot. And we know this because in Congress today, we have Democratic districts that have elected people that have incredibly wild ideas about the Middle East, about what's going on in the Middle East, and they are clearly in a different position than most Americans. Many Americans are completely apathetic, but those that are not are supporters of Israel. They're supporters of capitalism. And these people are not necessarily that.
Well, the thing that's happened is a lot of what you would call the Democratic Socialists of America, also known as the Justice Democrats.
Yes.
Strange idea of justice they have.
Mm-hmm.
Basically have integrated a lot of Muslim philosophy into their
dogma. Yeah.
Into their dogma, but not to the point where you're going to see AOC wearing a burqa. But
let me ask you this, Matthew.
A marriage of convenience. They're working together to basically throw down what they believe to be the imperial American system.
Well,
I don't necessarily disagree with them about the imperialism part, but I'm not particularly interested in overturning the current system now because that would be bloody and a lot of people would die.
Well, let me identify. Let me identify the tactic. The tactic is clear and obvious, and it's been obvious for the last 2 years when we were fighting the transgender issues, parental rights. The tactic is education. Okay, who is the loudest voice in favor of the terrorists of Gaza?
That would, in the United States, that would mostly be college students.
That is exactly right. That's what we've been seeing. And I don't think that that's a made up, just one day, all of a sudden they think this. This is how they are indoctrinated in school. We all learned about Israel and the Middle East when we went to college. We knew about that. We knew about, after World War II, what happened to all these displaced people, where they went. We knew all of that. But there was never an angle that the Middle Easterners around Israel were bad people. That was never an. I went to LSU, and I remember seeing the Iranian students shouting "Death to the Shah," and there were many people that asked questions about it. They were polite, they were nice, and this actually happened. Okay,
yeah,
and that's fine. But "Death to America" is is not what immigrants from the Middle East should be shouting when they come here. And that's what the recent attendees at Harvard knows when they say that they're lining up with the Palestinians and the people in Gaza particularly. They're saying they're in favor of death to America because that's what they shout.
I have not actually heard them shout that. I have to take your word on it. It sounds believable. I usually hear them shout "Death to Israel." I know the Iranians have a holiday called Death to America Day.
Right.
Which, it's like, okay, Democrats, you're Mr. 81 million votes. It's up there, 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue, is just given, freed up $6 billion of the money that was sanctioned against them by previous presidents, but they have not renounced Death to America Day.
Right.
It would be different. It would be different if it was discomfort to America.
That's right.
If they were wishing diarrhea on us, I'd say, okay, you're annoying. When you shout "Death to America," I'm like, that sounds kind of permanent.
Right. Well, Matt, thank you for the call this evening, and we're going to move on. As I was talking before, one of the things I wanted to get to tonight is tomorrow, Friday the 13th. We're always scared of Friday the 13th, but now we have another reason to be frightened.
I live on the edge, man.
You are on the edge.
I like.
Is Friday the 13th your birthday or something?
No.
But one could understand that. Okay, the former head of Hamas. Okay, Hamas is the radical group in the Gaza area, in the Gaza Strip, that they weren't alone, but they were the ones who penetrated Israel. They were the ones who killed the 256 young people who went to a concert. They're the bad guys. If killing children and kidnapping people is bad, they're the bad guys. Okay. The former head of Hamas, Khalid Mashal, currently living in Qatar. Okay, Qatar is a small country in the Middle East, and the Bank of Qatar is holding the $6 billion. What a coincidence, okay? Anyway, he declared on Tuesday that Friday the 13th, that's tomorrow, would be, quote, from Palestine, from the heart of Jerusalem and its surrounding areas. We extend this call to the living conscience within the hearts of the masses of our Arab and Islamic nation and our friends. Okay, what's that about? What's that about? It is the Friday of Al-Aqsa flood, and the Al-Aqsa flood was important in the Muslim religion. A day of general mobilization, this is quoting him, in our Arab and Islamic world, and among the free people of the world. So they don't want this just to be limited. This is not limited to the Israelis. We think they're bad. This is worldwide, okay? Now, he gave 6 different reasons why this is important, and I'm going to read you the 5th and the 6th. 5th, we call upon the free people of the world to mobilize in solidarity with our Palestinian brothers and in support of their just cause and legitimate rights to freedom, independence, return, and self-determination. Okay, that's, in other words, that sounds nice. It doesn't sound like death to Israel, But that's how you make Death to Israel sound palatable to impressionable young students. Okay, we're going to take a break in a few minutes, and we're going to get back. I'm going to read you the sixth reason he gave us. But thanks for listening to the Jack Clegg Show, WGSO 990 AM. Our call number is 504-556-9696. We'll be back in a few moments.
Hi, I'm Huck, an active Christian who loves Louisiana. One of my goals is to bring Louisiana's education from 50th to number 1.
And I'm Dave. I'm not afraid of government bureaucrats. I fear God. Our rights and freedoms come from Him.
This is Liberty or Lockdown. Please join us on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
It's Jeff Cruer, host of Ringside Politics. I'd like to introduce WGSO General Manager Marianne Guzman.
WGSO is locally owned and operated right here in New Orleans. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasize local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, then we have some prime spots available.
Thanks, Marianne. Folks, take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@WGSO.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Hey, Mimi, we're moving.
Moving to Wednesdays at 5.
You can check out He Said, She Said on a new day.
Hump Day.
A new day, but we'll still be discussing and debating the hot topics.
And take your phone call.
You can listen to us on 990 AM, WGSO, WGSO.com.
And find out who's right. Of course, that's me.
No, of course, that's me. I've been doing this 23 years, Mimi.
Practice makes perfect.
So you see, we'll have plenty to talk about on He Said, She Said.
Wednesdays at 5.
Right here on WGSO.
Donate your vehicle and make a difference. WGSO 990 AM has partnered with Charitable Adult Rides and Services, also known as CARS, to allow you the opportunity to donate your car, truck, motorcycle, RV, or boat to our nonprofit organization. You may qualify for a tax deduction while supporting a cause that is near and dear to your heart. Simply go to WGSO.com and follow the link on our homepage. Vehicle donation pickup is always free to you, and most vehicles can be picked up within 24 to 72 hours. You'll receive an initial car donation receipt upon pickup, and then the CARS team will work to turn your car into cash to support our cause. Once your vehicle is sold, the CARS team will provide you proper tax forms in time to file. Their friendly donor support representatives are available 7 days a week to assist throughout the process. Again, for more information, go to WGSO.com.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. live at Premier Nissan at 6636 Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, for our 12th season of In the Red Zone.
Ron Richardson here. Tune in every Saturday from 11 a.m. until 12 noon on WGSO 990 AM for conversations with Ron Richardson.
Tune in at 4 p.m. Monday through Friday for Herds Louisiana Live. Coming in hot, state government shenanigans, business, and more. Only on WGSO 990 AM.
All right, New Orleans. Welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Jack Clegg Show, Thursday night edition on WGSO.com and WGSO Radio. For those of you who have an AM radio, it's a tiny little box. It's like a transistor radio. Remember the transistor radios you could listen to? No, you're probably too young.
Transistor.
They were tiny little radios. Small. Yeah, they were tiny. And they had a battery in it. It was really cool. Anyway, I digress. Okay. In the use of, well, yes. No, I'm not that old. I just study things from then, so it seems like I experienced it. All right. One final area I want to talk about tonight, and it's really, really, I think, relevant. I'm not going to give people a historic view of the difference between Israel and the Arabs and how they fought. You can do that on your own. What I wanted to do was research the issue of why now? What's happened right now? What is going on both in Gaza, which is they were the main attackers, the people in the Gaza area, and Israel. Okay, so why now? Since 2005, there have been 4 separate wars and a lot of launching of missiles. Those are more random. Okay. But so why has this thing now happened and this gets the world's attention? Remember, in Europe, they have thousands, hundreds of thousands of immigrants from the Middle East who are Muslim. Okay. In America, we have, I don't know how many. I looked to see how many. I couldn't find. The estimates range greatly. So I don't know how many, and we don't know how many are here illegally. And I'm not saying that because Middle Eastern people do illegal things, but some do. And we know that. We remember 9/11. That was illegal. All right. So there are 4 reasons I've come up with. Number 1, not until now has Hamas, and Hamas is the terrorist group, they deny it, but they are the terrorist group that runs Gaza. Okay. Now they have a competitor. There's another Gaza group called the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and they're contesting Hamas's authority. These are younger guys. These are guys saying, you're not tough enough on Israel. We need to attack more. We need to do more. We need to do more. They are rising in popularity among the people in the Gaza area. Okay. And that has caused the Hamas leadership to be more aggressive. So that's one thing that's contributed. Another thing, Israel. Now, it's a different government than ours. It's a parliamentary government. So when a prime minister is selected by voting, he has to cobble together a government. Not everybody's in the same party he is, but he puts them together because they share what are important values at the time. And at the current time, the Israeli government is one of the furthest right-wing governments that they've had in a long, long time. And in their history, they've had some conservative people, but right now they are extraordinarily conservative. There are arguments made when they want to annex the West Bank of Jerusalem. This area is important to the Jewish religion, okay? And some of the more strident and conservative want to annex it and bring it into Israel. Again, there have been battles between Israeli settlers and young West Bank Palestinians. They're called the Lion's Den because they're very fierce fighters and they've been fighting the settlers. And so this issue, this tension has been there. If they come in, that will open up another Gaza on the west. This is east of most of the Israeli population, and it's called the West Bank. It doesn't make sense geographically, but look at a map and you'll be able to follow the story. The third reason is a government minister in the Netanyahu government. Okay, another one of these right-wing guys. Okay, and I'm a right-wing guy myself, so it doesn't mean you're bad. It means you look at things more conservatively.
Yes.
Okay. What's that? Who got in the radio station? Somebody, a traitor. No. A minister in the Netanyahu coalition recently visited Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is a hugely important mosque to the Muslim religion. Okay, he visited it. Okay, After he went, several trips of Israeli tourists visited the same mosque. They look at this as a matter of disrespect. They look at this as horrible. How can you do? You stay where you stay. I stay where I stay. Don't come over here. And this was in the papers. It was an issue. So you had these three things leading to what has happened. Palestinians don't like that. Not all Palestinians. Most Palestinians are hardworking people who go to work, they come home. This is a pain in the neck. But the activists don't like it. The fourth, okay, during the last year of President Trump's administration, agreements were signed in 2020 by the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, and Israel. They were called the Abraham Accords. Okay, this allowed for business and other formalities between the governments to take place as if they weren't enemies any longer. Well, a lot of people in the Middle East didn't like that, particularly if you happen to be a more radical activist. You didn't like it at all. Well, over the last 6 months or so, when President Biden went to Saudi Arabia, remember, and he begged them to stop the supply of oil, and they ramped it up. Well, at the same time, the Saudis are considering signing the accord, so they will have a relationship with Israel. So what we have is a situation where there may be some desperation going on. The people in Palestine, particularly the activists, may be looking around and saying, wait a minute, nobody's paying attention to us. All the rest of the countries are making peace with Israel. That's wrong. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons right there. I don't know which one. I can't put any weight on all of them. I'm not an expert. But the research, if you read what's going on, those would be the top 5 reasons why this is happening now. We shall see what happens tomorrow. If in the United States and in Europe we have more and more violence, and we can handle protests, but violence, then we'll see that this thing was organized and it may not go away right away. Anyway, thank you for listening to the show tonight. Thanks for our callers that called in. And we'll talk to you Tuesday night. Maybe we'll have a resolution to some of this stuff. What do you think?
A resolution for me and you?
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, the Jack Clegg Show Thursday night edition. Bids you adieu.
Good night, people.
Good night.
A business without signage is like a car with a flat tire. It's not going anywhere fast. Sir Speedy can change that. We're a trusted resource for sign design and production. Whether you need trade show displays, banners, posters, directional signs, window decals, wall graphics, or more, Sir Speedy's sign capability